Hey, I am so glad to actually be returning, and that's what I'll consider it is returning to this show. Um, I was around in the beginning when it used to be on Bravo originally, and then I kind of fell off, and it's back to Bravo, and I'm back to it. So I'm glad to be back. We're talking about Project Runway. Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on the video. This is my review for Project Runway Season 18, Episode 1. As I said, this is a happy return for me. Like, I used to be really into it and everything. I actually even considered auditioning for the show and all of that kind of thing. I was really into it. And then I kind of fell off, and the show went through a whole lot of things. It was with Bravo in the beginning. I was there. Then it kind of switched over and it was over on Lifetime. And now they're back to Bravo and James is back to Project Runway. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and let's start talking about what's going on here. Now, it's a lot. It is a lot because I had to think about it when I said, oh, how am I going to do this covering these episodes and keep it short and keep it interesting? And, my style of review is more what stuck out for me during the show. It's not a blow by blow of everything that actually happened, and I'm not going to go scene by scene. That's just not the way I do things. If you want to actually watch the show, then you will have to have a subscription to a cable company or streaming service or something that airs Bravo products like I do, and you'll have to watch the show. I'm here to talk about the things in the show that stuck out for me. So that's my style of review. For those of you who don't know me, yeah, that's how I do my thing. So welcome. If that's not the type of review for you, sorry about it. Maybe we'll meet up again in the YouTube streets or something else. But yeah, this is the way I do my reviews. So let's get to it. Okay, so our hosts. I see there's no Tim Gunn. Tim Gunn is gone, and it has been replaced. That job has been replaced with Christian Siriano. And I was around when Christian Siriano actually won. So I've always loved Christian. I don't know anyone who sews, well, one person that sews as fast as Christian. But she is actually an older lady who was one of my teachers when I was actually in school for fashion. But just you don't run across people who can pump out the quality of garment that Christian Siriano could pump out in that short time. I just don't see it. He's amazing. I love Christian. Little, I always call him Little Christian, and then there's a Big Chris too from back in the day, but that's Little Chris. And then we have Carly Kloss, beautiful. She child. It's so funny to see them two standing next to each other. I said, "Look at her, honey, towering over him, just beautiful." She had this beautiful white wrap style dress. It was everything. Looked so good on her. But we're in New York City. We're in New York City. Um, the prize package now is $250,000 from Blueprint, a feature in Elle magazine, $50,000 from palette friction, ink pens, they're erasable ink, and an internship with CFDA. So listen, can't do much better than that. Can't do much better than that. Anyway, so we get there. They are at the TWA JFK Airport, which has been turned to a hotel at this point, and this is what's being used as the inspiration because they talked about how a lot of designers, and especially in this last few years, have been using that for inspiration. That's what they were doing. And the first day, first challenge, like as soon as they came up and was like, "Welcome to Project Runway," the challenge started right then. They went into a mixer. They had a mixer. It's a 2 day challenge. It's two designers per team. These people don't even know each other. They're like, "Hey, we're over the mixer. You all get to know each other, pick a partner." And the theme is space tourism. Space tourism is going to be 2 looks. One is a jumpsuit and one is a chic happy hour look. And I said, "Ooh, I like this. This I like." I was really interested right away. I got grabbed in, and I said, "Now, for me, I think the first thing I would do, I would definitely want to, with this whole situation, be it on the show, I want to pull as much knowledge as I can because I'm 47. I've been designing clothes and making clothes for a very long time since I was like 16. Okay. I've been designing longer than that, but I actually jumped in and started learning to sew. I was self-taught and then I went to school afterwards. But that all started around 16. But I've been designing clothes since I taught and never knew why. That's a whole nother story for a whole nother time. Check out my YouTube channel. Anyway, so my thing is to grab as much knowledge because it's a constant learn. You're always constantly learning, and you can always pull from the people around you. Always pull from the people. You can always learn from younger people. Younger people are like the best to learn from because they're up on what's going on. And the new things that come out, they just suck it up so fast. So that would be my thing. That would be my strategy is to pull as much from this experience as I possibly can. Not even, I don't think I would even be worried about winning. I, if I went to Project Runway now, which is not that far off because I may just do it. I may just audition. But my goal would be to grab as much from the experience as possible. And I would be trying to pair up with somebody my opposite. That would be me. I wouldn't want to pair up, especially for this challenge, with someone whose aesthetic is the exact same as mine. I just wouldn't. But anyway, that's my thing. So okay, so we start going through this here mixer, and right away we have Jeffrey. Jeffrey made a move that stuck out to me. Jeffrey is a very interesting individual. He was an army brat, and he kind of was a military kid, and he kind of turned uh, like club kid. So I see like that whole aesthetic with him. I'm like, okay, so you're like party and drag and all of this kind of thing, which is definitely part of my wheelhouse. Um, I wouldn't have paired myself with him, but he had actually paired himself with someone else. He actually paired himself with Ozma. Okay, Ozma is, I believe she's Muslim. She had her head wrapped and she does full coverage. Her thing is full coverage, but she likes pops of color and she likes to be very different. So he had partnered himself with her first, but then he tossed her. He tossed her and he paired up with Melanie. And that was because they both were talking about that they do architectural design. Now, I don't know so much about this architectural design because, again, I told you Jeffrey gives me very club kid, drag, high fashion turned on its side, extra, 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 almost theatrical stuff. That's what I saw. Even the pictures and things that they showed of him and his, that's what I saw. So I don't know where this architectural thing is, but okay. If that's what you say your aesthetic is, that's okay, cool. Maybe it is. We will see as we go forward. I told you what I saw. Anyway, so he was with Asma and he dumped Asma, and Asma ended up partnering herself with Jen. Jen is an eco-friendly golf designer. Now I could see myself being partnered with Jen because she's my opposite. I am um, evening wear, bridal, uh, high drag, uh, costume. I would definitely have paired myself with someone like Jen because Jen has a dark side. She's goth, but she wasn't like traditional goth, so it's not totally dark. And she's eco-friendly, so that's, real aware and politically correct. So yeah, I could definitely see myself partnering with her because there's something to draw from. We're opposites. She's dark and she's, worried about the planet, and I'm not so much. So yeah, I can see that. We can learn from each other. Anyway, so that was like one of the first things that actually kind of grabbed my attention. I said, very interesting. Very interesting. Let me tell you about some of the other people here that stuck out for me because, like I said, there's like 16 of them. I didn't go through all the contestants in my notes. I'm just going to talk about the ones that kind of stuck out for me in this episode. And by the time we get to the end of it, we'll have covered all of them, I'm sure. So we got Brittany Allen stuck right out for me. Brittany's 29 years old. She teaches fashion in Austin and she drives Uber. And she basically was saying how she promotes herself. Just, she has conversation. She networks. She put herself into a good position to network while she is driving. She's networking and finding clients while she's at work. She never gets dull because she's teaching. So she's constantly still doing what it is that we do. Nancy Volpe Behringer, next, she's 64 years old. She is, to date, the oldest contestant that there's been. She's from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So I was definitely intrigued with her. And then when I saw her aesthetic, it's a lot like mine. It's a lot like mine. I find her exciting. And I like, same thing. I'm 47. She's 64. And where she says, yes, I'm 64 in age, but when you see my work, you will never put 64 next to my work. And I'm very much that way. I've always said I am a Toys R Us kid. I do not want to, and I refuse to grow up. So that's, yeah, I'm definitely really on board, and I like Nancy. I like Nancy. I like what I've seen from her so far. She seems to be a very genuine person. Yeah, I'm intrigued with her. Then we got Sergio. Old Sergio is 36 years old. Sergio stuck out for me because, of course, he mentioned that he did a red carpet look for my Billy Porter. Billy Porter is from my city. I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I love me some Billy Porter. So, yes, he is ours. He is our Billy Porter from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So, right away, I was intrigued with Sergio. But what stuck out right away with Sergio's a bit of a narcissist. I said, uh-oh. So, I mean, it is a big deal that you did a red carpet look for Billy Porter. Billy Porter's become known for his red carpet stunts, because that's what I would classify them. Those are stunts. Billy lets the red carpet have it. But, yeah. So he did one of Billy's looks, and they showed the look, and I was like, okay, it wasn't even one of my favorite Billy looks. My favorite Billy Porter look thus far that he's done has been by Christian Siriano, which was his black velvet tuxedo ball gown done in 24 hours. Catch those T's. Anyway, so I was listening to him, and he is already pinning himself against Christian and Brandon Maxwell, which is actually one of the judges. Christian Siriano and Brandon Maxwell are doing the damn thing. They're designers in their own right. They are well known in their own right. They are a big deal. And you're pitting yourself against them as a contestant? I don't know. Doesn't sound smart to me, but okay. Whatever you want to do, boo. Don't let that narcissism have you sent home early when you shouldn't be sent home. That's all I'm going to say. Anyway, so then we have Alex. Alex is 24, and Alex is young. Alex is young. Alex is excited. And that's what I could pull from him. I don't know He's young and he's excited. And he's a little bit cocky. I can see a little bit of cockiness in him. He's going to make for good television. So I'm going to be watching Mr. Alex Gonzalez. Okay? So that's that. Then we got Jen. Jen is 41. I was intrigued by her. Jen was doing visuals at Target, and she basically stepped out on faith. She just was not being fulfilled with what she was doing. I understand. And I'm intrigued by her. Dalvin McCray. Dalvin, cute. He's a cute little guy. And he there's just a little teensy eensy bit of cockiness with a little layer of narcissism over top of it. And yeah. He has a little bit of this. A little bit of that. That's the only way I can really explain this. A little bit of. He's walking around and he's wearing a couturier coat. You know the coats that they wear, the actual couturiers. They wear like a white jacket, and it's very professional and it looks really good. But you're not a couturier, and you're not Parisian. It's like, okay, I mean, and again, I get it. Whatever it is that you want for yourself, you can do that, and you put yourself in. You do what it is you need to do to build whatever your image is, and it's okay. The coat is okay. I'm here for it. But I don't want to see you fall out of character. I want you to stay that person the whole way. If you're going to be extra like that, you need to be extra all the time. So I'm going to have my eye on you now because you're building this character for me. And I don't want to feel like you're doing this for television. I want to feel like this is you. Like if I were to pull up on you at home and I was getting something done, you're walking around in your little couturier coat and you're doing what you got to do. I want to feel that this is not all for television because I'm not here for that. So it's cool. But yeah, we'll talk about him a little bit more too. Okay, so they go to Mood. They have $400 to shop for the two of them. The two in the groups. They have 45 minutes. Right away. Jeffrey is all over the place. See, Jeffrey seems problematic to me. He came across problematic to me from the beginning. When he kicked Asma to the curb, you already stuck out as problematic and a little bit messy the way he just kicked her to the curb. But again, you don't know her, you don't owe her anything. But okay, but I just don't move like that. So cool. So I see that. Melanie was visibly getting very nervous. They actually had ran to a point where they were running out of time. And they hadn't even gone to the cutting counter yet. She had everything she had. She walked around behind him. I said, oh, no. And she was questioning, did I do the right thing? Did I choose the right partner? No. Because he could be the right partner, but it's going to be extra work for you now because you are going to have to keep him focused. And nobody has time for that. So that's that on that. Once they got back to the workroom, they're starting to do their little draping and different things like that. Brittany wanted to kind of go around and nab into others' fabrication and see what people were doing. And Sergio wrangled her in and shut her down. No, focus. Leave all that nappiness alone. But again, that's her thing. She's an Uber driver, so she has that thing, of I could just chit chat with people and I could, the need to be able to with people. Sewing ain't one of them type of sports. So it's people don't like people nosing in their business, and people don't, and then you don't have time for it. This is all about time. It's all about keeping focused, and it's all about doing what it is you're supposed to be doing, because you could be doing a hem or something while you run around looking at somebody else's fabric and getting thrown off for what you're doing. So I definitely understood what he was saying, and that was a good thing. So I was like, okay, cool. So they're good together. They're good together because he can keep her on track. And she, yeah, he can keep her on track. She knows better. She's a teacher, so she knows better. Shortly after all of that, they end up wrapping for the day and they go to the penthouse because they're all, now this is different. You know, they all used to have like all these like shared rooms and all of this in the hotel. Well, they have like one big co-ed penthouse. It's gorgeous, but it's one big co-ed penthouse. And there's like beds all in the rooms together and that, and there's 16 of them. I says, oh, this is interesting. It's interesting. But again, it, when you think about it, for television purposes, this whole Big Brother type of situation, it'll make for more drama and conflict, I'm sure. Anyway, I'm here for it. Let's watch. So next day comes, which is actual day one. Day one of the 2 days they have. So just some of what was going on. You got Alan and Dayon. Alan and Dayon, they're creating a friendship. You can see that they are meshing and they are enjoying each other's company. But again, Alan is a little Alex. I'm calling him Alan. Alex, excuse me, Alex. Alex Gonzalez. Alex is a little scatterbrain. He's giving me scatterbrain here. His main fabric for his garment is organza. He's doing the dress. Dayon is doing the jumpsuit. He left the organza at Mood. So they didn't even get it. So she ended up having to share her fabric. And this was one thing that I said, well, they did work well because they made it work. They used the fabric that they had for one and a portion, not even 1.5, 1.25 garments, and ended up making 2 garments. So I said, well, that shows that you all have talent and tenacity. So that was that. But his main fabric got left at Mood because you're too busy being an airbrain and you bouncing around and you're all excited and not paying attention to what you're doing. Get it together. Okay, Sergio is going more into this whole thing. We're starting to see it unfold. The competition with Christian. Christian comes in doing his whole Tim Gunn thing, and Sergio's already, well, Christian, you really can't tell me anything because I'm on the same level as him. And so, no, you're not. No, you're not, because you're a contestant and they're employees of the show. So no matter what your skill set is, you're not on the same level as them in this arena or the fashion arena as a whole, because everybody knows them. We don't know you. We don't know you. We don't know you at all. I follow Billy Porter. I didn't know who made that pink suit, that fuchsia suit. I knew Christian made that black gown though. So you're not on the same level, sweetheart. So anyway, you need to just knock your narcissism down just a tad. It's cool to be cool with who you are. But yeah, when you're more important to you than you are to us, it's kind of an issue. Because we ain't think about you. Ain't anybody looking for you. Anyway, that narcissistic air, I have a feeling's going to get him into trouble. But anyway, let's move on. Ozma is actually willing to bend, okay, to make things flow. Because the 2 garments they have to be able to coexist because they're supposed to be garments that would belong to the same woman, okay? And Jen is not. Jen is kind of like stern. This is what I do. I'm not trying to bend. And Ozma was more like, well, let me try to, incorporate some of what you do into what I do, and then you could do the same, and then it will all be cohesive. And Jen's like, no, no. So these 2 are just a bad pair, just from the door. It's just a bad pair. And it just moved on and it actually got worse. But right away, I knew there was going to be a problem with that because one's willing to bend and one is not. Now, for Jen, that not willing to bend, not going to do real well for you in this competition at all. So you got to get rid of that. So that's that. That was for day one. Day two, we go in, we got the model fittings. And the models come in, and it's very interesting. We got all different sizes, all different types of models. I love it. We even have Dee Dee, which is a non-gender conforming model. So I was like here for it. Like and what that is, non-gender conforming. Dee Dee is kind of like will basically be all up in drag, but no wig, no some makeup, but not full on drag makeup, no boobs, just non-gender conforming. Like, just doesn't. His pronouns are them and they. It's not he, her, she. It's not. Very interesting. Very interesting. And that's going to be very interesting to work with because Dee Dee, you can go either way. If you got Dee Dee as a model, you can do whatever you want. And I was like excited about it. And Dee Dee was actually with Tyler and Dalvin. I said, "Oh, I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it." So that was interesting. And then, like I said, just beautiful models. They're all beautiful. All of them are just all different. They're all different kinds of models. So I was living for it. All different body shapes and sizes. I love it. Anyway, so right off the bat, I'm going to go to model fitting. Asma is having fitting issues. The garment is just flat out too small. Like literally, she's like, "Oh, I probably need another inch." I'm like, "Girl, an inch ain't gonna do a thing for you." She ended up changing the whole design because of the fact that it didn't fit and she didn't have extra fabric. She couldn't recut and all that. I was like, "Oh, Asma." And when it gets all the way down to it, I hate to say it, I just think I don't know what she showed at her audition, but I think she was just in over her head. Or I don't know, because that the mistakes and things that were made and what she showed as a skill set, not for this, not for this. I can't even just lean on you. Just got nervous or something. You know what I mean? No, this just seems that it's not in your wheelhouse yet. But that was what I saw. Okay, so moving on. DeYoung actually had some fitting issues as well. But then hers weren't to where it could be worked out. Those were slips of the hand and mismanagement of some measurements. It happens, but she's able to fix it. But the thing that was a problem, she had a whole breakdown. She is Asian, okay? She's of Asian descent. If you know anything about people of Asian descent, they are, for the most part, they are perfectionists. And they take it very personal when they don't do their absolute best. And that's something that I've seen amongst their race as a whole. They're very serious about their work and their work ethic. And she just crashed. She just started crying. And I'm like, no, baby, that ain't gonna work for this. Because people were just like, this is the fashion industry. And they're like, somebody crying in here? Girl, psh, if you don't shut up, honey. And that's what it gives, honey. This is, mm-mm. We talk about fashion and models, and ain't nobody got time for the crying. Hairdressers, which I'm both. I'm a hairdresser and a fashion designer. Ain't nobody got no time for the crying. Girl, shut up. Let's go. Our clients cry. We don't have the luxury of crying. Let's go. We got work to do. And that's the way it. Did you hear that? You didn't see any breaks in there for tears. Period. So I was like, girl, that don't work. So that's that. That all went on day two. So here we go back on the day of the runway show. Delvin got done. Delvin's sitting over there. He's laying back on the couch. And Christian says, "What's going on?" And he's like, "Oh, no, I'm done. You don't want to get into this. Okay? And possibly you can sew fast and all of that. But you don't want to play that game with Christian. the Christian that looked over there at your station, and he told me, he says, yeah, maybe you did finish, but it can always be made better. And I'm telling you, when you go out there, they're going to pick it apart. And I could stand here now and pick it apart for you if you like. And I guarantee you, this ain't the time for you to be laying over there on that couch. And he took the attitude of, I'm done. I'm eating this candy bar. I'm laying over here. And yeah, whatever. He's just trying to get in my head. Whatever. That little piece of narcissism will come back and bite you in your ass. Please believe me when I tell you. Anyway, moving on. So then they announced that this first challenge is the first flash sale challenge as well. And there will be immunity for the person that actually wins. So that flash sale thing, that's the, whatever garment wins overall will be available for sale. So you'll be able to start making some money. So that's and game recognition. It's a big deal. So that's that. Then we get our judges. We got Nina Garcia. I'm so glad Nina's still there. We have Elaine Welteroth. She's interesting. She's hard. She's a hard judge. I wasn't really didn't know much about her, but I like her being there because she plays no games. She plays no games, and she's kind of stern with it. And then you got Brandon Maxwell. Baby, when I tell you Brandon Maxwell reads, he reads immersively. He definitely is the replacement for Michael Kors, because Michael Kors was a hot mess. And Nina can be very sharp as well. I said, oof, y'all got y'all work cut out for y'all. Another thing we found that Nancy, my 64 Miss Nancy, Nancy actually stepped out of the corporate world in 2009 to pursue her dream. I told you I'm so intrigued with Miss Nancy. I'm just here for her. I really am. So, all right, so let's talk about this stuff. Miss Nancy and Marquise were together. Nancy did the dress, Marquise did the jumpsuit. I liked it. I liked it. It wasn't my complete favorite, but I did like it. Like I said, Miss Nancy and I have a similar aesthetic. Um, yeah, you can tell she has the knowledge of class for her age range, and she is hip enough to be able to hang out with the cool kids as well still. So yeah, I'm here for Miss Nancy. Anyway, we got Alex and DeJong. They pulled it off. They pulled it off. Now, was it my favorites? No, they weren't my favorites, but they pulled it off. And to know that they actually did it with literally not enough fabric, hey, I was here for it because it was quick and it was on your toes and you made it work. See, Tim Gunn reference, they made it work. We got Tyler and Delvin. I was here for it. I was here for it, and more so because of Tyler. One, Tyler is a drag queen, and he sews for drag queens, and he has that whole showbiz thing, and he's over the top, and I just like him, and he's quiet. He's actually over there quiet, doing his thing, and he had Dee Dee for a model, and baby, Dee Dee was killing. Dee Dee actually wore the dress, and Dalvin's model did the jumpsuit. Okay, so listen. Overall, over everybody's stuff, Brittany's jumpsuit was my favorite thing that came down the runway, period. Take a look. Was my absolute favorite piece. Over everything. It was my favorite piece. So let me tell you about the judges and what the judges thought. So the judges' favorites were Jeffrey and Brittany, Sergio and Melanie. Okay. Jeffrey did a dress. It was like a strapless cocktail dress that had removable sleeves. Very my aesthetic. I'm down with the whole removable sleeve thing. is, I like that little wow factor, that little fashion show moment. So I was here for it. And what really saved him on that, Nina Garcia loved it because Elaine didn't care for the sleeves. She thought they were unnecessary. And of course, yeah, she wasn't real crazy about them, but Nina loved it. And of course, you guys know Carly sits on the panel as well. So there's a fourth, judge there. And there is this season, Christian has a save. So Christian can save you. If you get eliminated, Christian can save you if he wants to. So all these people sitting around playing these little narcissistic games with Christian and not listening to Christian, you may want to rethink that. I don't even know if they know that Christian has a save, but you ain't got to kiss up to him, but you just don't want to get on his bad side because you never know. Everybody needs somebody sometime, and so do I. So my grandmother used to say, listen, you never know. It's better to make friends than to make enemies. Anyway, now the bottoms was Jen and Asma. And let me tell you something about Asma. Asma has listen, she had no business being there. She has no business being there. She doesn't have a knowledge of fabrication. Like her whole thing, she was like so distraught about the fact that it was cotton and the finish for the cotton, and she wishes that she had used a stretch as a knit. Girl, that's like basic. Like, stop it. And she's like, I don't know why I did. The fitting and her sewing was horrendous. It was horrendous. And she said, I don't even use cotton. Horrendous. She is of out of sorts. She was my choice for who to go home. I mean, it was like evident for me. I was like, she can go. She can go. Anyway, and Dayoung and Alex fell into the bottom. So those were the two. I was like, okay, cool. So here we go. This is how it worked out. The winning group was Brittany and Sergio. The winning garment, I was dead on. It was Brittany in a jumpsuit because the jumpsuit was everything. So Brittany won. She has immunity for next week. Now, this is where they pulled it, baby. So who's going home? Baby, when I tell you, I am the game show reality queen. When I tell you down here on Project Runway, they pulled a RuPaul's Drag Race, baby, I said, how y'all gonna do this? They did what Ru would do. Ru won the Emmy anyway. Do what Ru would do. They turned around and told them, both of you can go home. They sent Jen and Asma home. Sent them both home. Double elimination. Boom, boom, bam. See y'all. Front tire, back tire, gone. I was like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. And I felt so bad for Jen. I was like, wow. Because again, she did a jumpsuit and the jumpsuit didn't say goth. Like she wasn't willing to bend, but you weren't even in your own wheelhouse. You weren't even in your own wheelhouse. Goth. And it was a light goth. We're talking about space. Why do you have this satin jumpsuit? I just didn't get it. So you just screwed up. And it was just bad. I was like, oh, poor thing. Asma, you needed to go home. Asma was so bad that's why Jen should have been able to stay, because Asma was so bad. It was like it was a no-brainer of which one had to go home, but they were really like pissed with Jen because it was like, you're not showing to be who you say you are either. So they just let her go. They said, we ain't playing no game with you. You're out of here. And I was like, wow. And this was the part that got me, and I'm gonna get on out of here because I've talked long enough. Asma literally had the nerve to feel as though someone had done her wrong. Ma'am, you don't know how to finish cotton properly. You didn't know that you wanted some type of a form fit and you don't want to play because, again, you do full coverage and you're doing like all this other stuff. You wanted it to drape. Cotton don't drape. Not like that. You didn't know you needed a knit. Girl, if you don't get your things and get out of here, get on out of here, Asthma. They didn't even give me a chance. No, you didn't give you a chance. You had no business there, though. You didn't. See ya. Anyway, that's it. That's all I have for season one. Oh, season one, Lord, episode one, season 18 of Project Runway. I'm so glad I'm back. I really enjoyed the show. I'm going to really enjoy talking with you guys about this and dealing with this again. Yeah, it's like a nostalgia. I haven't done this in years. So I'm excited. I will see you guys again for the next episode. Later.